The following program is made possible with the support of
Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza.
And welcome to Sports Roundtable. The postseason is underway. The first season is in the books, and one team that finished strong in the regular season is New Hanover. And Coach, I know it was senior day.
Yep.
You wanted to get everybody some good reps, and then all of a sudden use that second half for a little rest. Accomplish both.
Definitely. Last Monday and Tuesday were the best practices we've had all year long. It was pretty violent both days. We had to tone them down. We was afraid, hey, we just got this kid back and that kid back, and plus with the way this year's gone, we had to tone it down quite a bit, but you could just tell the difference. Then Friday night, all Friday during the day, we were more focused. We started all seniors. Some of those kids don't get to play very much, and we started them. We had 6 seniors score. Every offensive kid got to touch, other than our offensive lineman, got to touch the ball, and once we got that, then we started playing some of our regular starters, and then we got them off the field and got a lot of kids a lot of reps, and it was a great night for the kids.
Okay, let's take a look at some highlights. Topsail at Legion Stadium, final home game of the year, and you wore those conservative uniforms.
Oh yeah, had all that orange. Avery Sappho right here is a senior defensive end. He had 2 sacks and recovered a fumble. I felt like our defensive line was a lot more aggressive. We really got after it in practice, like I said, and it showed. K-Ron Reed, he's just a tremendous kid, quiet kid. We let the seniors vote for who they wanted as their 4 captains, and K-Ron was one of those 4. And he came to me before the game and asked if he could give it to another senior, and I told him no. But that's the type of kid that he is. He's always wanting to give everything he's got. And I told him, this is, your brothers ask you to be that guy and represent them, and it just sums him up. We had a bust. They got down there on their touchdown. We had 3 kids hit their wide receiver should have been a 3-yard gain. Instead, he took it about 60 and got down there, and we got a stop there, but they ended up punching it in. This is Garrett Walston. He is 6'4 1/4, and he don't trip over right there. He scores. He has another one. He has got a chance to play major big-time football. He's getting offer after offer, and it's only going to get better. Ward Coleman right there to LaQuay Cox. Ward is the New Hanover High School all-time passing leader. He has just under 7,500 yards in the air, and we'll have our banquet Wednesday night, and we won't present him a plaque yet with that on there, but because we've got Friday night and hope several more, but he is the all-time New Hanover passing leader, which is a big accomplishment. Bates Taylor broke that record originally, and then Ward took that. Sean Johnson getting healthier. I think he scored 3 times. One of them got called back, and glad to have him healthy. Malachi Mosley was back, got to play his first game since the first quarter of Scotland County, and he played extremely well. I don't know why we got kickoff return on here, because we didn't cover it all night long, but I guess they just wanted to. This is a highlight of me yelling and screaming. We tackled this one. I think the kid accidentally ran into us. If we do that against Friday night against Rose, every time we score, they'll immediately score, because they'll just run the thing back. It was absolutely horrific. I guess that was only fitting with a black and orange. This is Garrett again. First of all, a tremendous catch, because that was a laser. And his lower body is really starting to blow up and explode and killing it in the squat rack, and his speed is showing from that. And like I said, I think that young man's got a great opportunity to go play some major college football somewhere, straight A student. And here we go again. This is awesome. Our kickoff return coverage was horrific. I said that earlier. And that was the only 2 times we did it. Maybe that was why the coaches.
2 tapes don't lie, man.
The coaches are playing Jedi mind tricks with me on that one, and but I will see them this evening, and we will have conversations. Avery with a second sack there. Like I said, D-line really got after it. James Dubar laid that was a very vicious hit, full bore, and we just got to where we just started pounding it and got in our 3-back stuff. Jacob Batts. He was a kid we tried. He moved here. His mother teaches at New Hanover High School, and he tried at linebacker, tried defensive end. We really tried to find somewhere where he could play, and he ended up, when we had all the injuries at running back, he ended up going to running back, and he's a kid that has put on over 20 pounds since school started, and killing it in the weight room, gotten faster.
As we continue to take a look at some of the highlights. So you run on 5 straight to close the year. You talked about if this team got healthy, if this team got momentum, you're getting healthier. You got some people back in their original position up front. You have some momentum. You're going to Rose. Talk about that trip.
We've been, all of these kids, they've made that trip before, whether it was on JV or if they were up, but we always, used to be in the conference with them. They know what Rose has and what they're about, and they know their history as well. We always go in their weight room, and they'll let you in the weight room, and we like to compare our numbers with their numbers, and we always do that kind of song and dance. They are very athletic. They're more athletic than us. Number 3 wide receiver is the second best wide receiver I've seen in North Carolina.
He's a package.
He, other than Trayvon Brown, who had the honor and privilege of coaching, number 3 special, and we've got to limit him. We've got to make them work it down the field. Even if we give up some first downs, we can't give up the big plays. And if we can make them do that, and hopefully make them punt, and offensively, nobody has stopped us all year long. And that is not being arrogant. I got film to prove it. Either us, officiating, bad luck. We've had some bad breaks, penalties and other things. If we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, nobody stopped us. We've got to get in the red zone and put points on the board because they're going to score.
I was about to say, 30 seconds you have left. Off to a quick start important because you don't want to play from behind at Rose.
Well, first round's always tough because it's going to be their officials. Every one of them guys are Pirate fans and live right there in Greenville Rose, and a lot of those folks don't like us because we have beaches and they don't. And so you got to fight that in the home, and it's going to be 26 degrees and cold, and our kids don't like cold weather. So there's a lot of intangibles there that we have to manage.
Okay. Make the trip up to Greenville Rose. It is a 7:30 kickoff this coming Friday night. New Hanover first-round play. When we continue, we'll take a look at yet another first-round playoff matchup. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Let's swing over to Ashley, final game of the regular season. You talked about when we got together in early September that this was going to be a building year, and I know you're pleased that the foundation has been laid.
Right. We feel like we've laid a good foundation with our kids who are in the program, who are returning, and I'm glad for the seniors that they. The one thing to say when you're 0-10 and yet you still hang in there and keep playing and keep working and keep competing and you persevere through that thing, and so there's life lessons there that hopefully they'll learn. They have learned and will continue to learn from that throughout their lives. But we feel real good about our JV program. We'll finish the winning season with those guys, and 60 kids in the program. Got our returners back on the varsity. Every single returner we got back has started at least one game this year. So we got kids who have played at game speed. And so what we've got to do is have a great off season and begin to practice at game speed, which is something that we struggled with this year.
Okay, let's take a look at the highlights if we can. Final game of the regular season, and we're underway.
Yeah, we had, again, defensively, and I can't say enough about Coach Smith. He's done a great job for us defensively, just trying to come up each week with something different so to help us keep us in the ball game. This game was no different. They jumped on us early. They got on top of us 21-0, and we had a turnover on a kickoff return, which we've actually, kickoff returns probably been our best special team of the year, that and punt. And punt team is so underrated. I want to give those guys some love because our punt team, we've had no block punts, no returns the entire year, and that's what I keep telling those guys is, punt team needs to be ignored. That's a good thing. We don't recognize you're on the field. So I've been real proud of those kids this year doing that, guys who are on there. And And again, we've had a few plays offensively, some long gains, just couldn't punch it in, turned it over on downs a couple times. I felt good about the offense this past week. We limited our turnovers, which was a good thing. But two fairly evenly matched teams, us and West Brunswick, as far as on paper. But like I said, they jumped on us 21-0, and it was just hard for us. You know, we're averaging 12 points a game. It was hard for us offensively to try to get ahead after that point or make it a game. This is one of our kickoff returns here. Stephon Russell did a great job all year for us. Those guys on kickoff return, again, did a good job setting us up with field position the entire year. And offensively, we got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of kids returning also that we feel good about. We've got our 4 out of 5 of our offensive linemen back who have started a majority of the games again. So again, the whole thing of playing at game speed, and I know that's coach talk, but we need to play at game speed. We need to practice at game speed. We feel like we've accomplished that this year with those guys. We feel good about that with them. And we got a bunch of 10th graders back who will be juniors, and there's a few there catching and throwing, and so hopefully we'll be real good there in our positions on offense. Here's our last touchdown of the year, quarterback sneak, by Cham Carey.
Okay, so as you go forward, you mentioned you've got a number of sophomores, especially when you think of high school ball, a big jump from being a 10th grader to an 11th grader. How do you get that crew ready in the offseason?
Well, get them ready in the offseason. We're going to start right back December 1st with track workouts. I always say we're a track team that plays football, and so those guys are going to do that. So when you get cut from basketball, you come on out here, work out with track, and that's what they're going to do. Really encourage them. A lot of the kids get in the weight room, obviously, and of course in the mat room, in the wrestling room. Wrestling and football, to me, go hand in hand. I was a wrestling coach for years. Also, and just think that's real important as far as flexibility and leverage and all the things that we ask for in football. So, we're going to get right back at it. We'll take a couple weeks off, get started December 1st, and go from there and try to build this program up.
I know you were pleased with the numbers, not just the success of the JV, but the kind of kid that you had participating on the field and in the classroom.
Right, yeah. When one of the things that when I was hired down there by Mr. Norville and Coach Turner, the football GPA of all things was the lowest in the entire school of all the teams. And so, we've really tried to push our kids in the classroom also to get better there. And every coach knows that if you do well off the field in the classroom, back home on the block, as I say, you'll do fine on the field. And all those intangibles that kids bring with them of good character, good moral character, and just a good work ethic. And we've got that with those kids, and I feel good about that. And hopefully we'll just let that transcend to the football field. That's our job.
I was about to say, you're excited about the next step.
Oh, we are, and I'm chomping at the bit to get back at it, and want to wish the other guys good luck this week going into the playoffs, and hopefully we'll be there next year with them. That's our plan.
Okay, so, appreciate all your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll come back, take a look at Laney. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Another team that'll be on the bus and heading the road is Laney. And Coach, you had that unique situation where you were actually off the last week and a lot of people were playing. Gave you a chance to heal a little bit, prep some things, and you're going to number 2 seed. Gardner's good.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that off week was great. The kids got their legs underneath them a little bit. I gave them some days off, and then the practices that we did have, they were crisp, they were fast, up-tempo type of practices. We brought up some of our young guys, some of the JV kids, trying to get an idea of what we have next season, 10th grade wise, and we saw some freshmen that did some great things, and just trying to see what we can do to build a program and go in the right direction. Speaking
of this past season, the regular season, let's take a look at some highlights. And I know you talk about your schedule, and you play New Bern, you play Rose. That has to help you as you get into the second season.
Yes, sir, absolutely. We wanted that non-conference. When I was coming through Laney High School, we played some of the best competition non-conference. It prepared us for a tough conference schedule, and we look at scheduling those tough opponents just because it gives us an idea of what it takes to be great.
Outside speed has been a theme all year.
Yes, sir. That's Meek Watkins. Playing against New Hanover, those guys are great speed on defense. They get to the ball and flow real well. And he like you said, he's just a 10th grader. We got a lot of things to do in the off season, work on his craft. And that's Justin Billingsley. He's also a junior. He does a great job competing in practice. again, we got to get used to, owning the process of preparation. In the offseason, we'll look at some things that we did, with our practice schedule and finding out what things we can do to get better. It's always about innovating, trying to make yourself better and improve and not go backwards. So we'll look at some things in the offseason and see what we need to work on. That's Christian Cox, one of my senior linebackers. Every one of my linebackers are going to be gone this season, except for one. I've got one guy that came up from JV, Tyler Moore, 8-quarter kid that ended up having to come and play. So he had so many down guys, but we're going to lose every one of those linebackers, and it's, those young guys got to step up, and we got to train them, and we got to coach them up, get them ready for this next level here. And that's Tyreek Lane. He's going to be missed. Dynamic athlete, throwing the ball and running. Can do some special things, when there's nothing there. So we look to replace him with another quarterback in the offseason and see who wants to step up there and be a leader. And then there's Amik again. Good thing we got him coming back. Most of our offensive line is coming back. We lose one senior tackle, that's Noah Thompson. Looking for him to go play at the next level and do some great things, just like he did at Laney High School. He actually had a huge jump from his junior to senior year, and proud of the efforts that he had in the offseason and the leadership that he's taken throughout the year.
Now, we see a number of explosion plays here. We're about to see a defensive staff here and obviously some pressure on the side. But your offensive line did a great job this year, not only with that initial block, but with the scrambles, just staying with the play.
Yes, sir. We didn't have many blocking the back penalties or any holding or anything like that, and that's a testament not only to the kids, but Coach Josh Rusk. We got him from South this past season. And he has a mentality that we want in our offensive line. They want to be road graders. They want to move the pile, move guys, and get them out of there. And it's just something that, mentality-wise, that we love having at Laney High School.
This game's at Rose, so the fact that you've played in hostile environments have to help you on Friday.
Yes, sir. And that's what we talk about, scheduling those tough non-conference games. And it's it's a double-edged sword. You can get an idea of where your team is in the non-conference schedule, but then you can also possibly lose some ball games, and that'll make it tough mentally for the game or the kids. And that's one of the things that was tough this season in the beginning, was that we were losing a lot of those non-conference games. And mentally, I knew we had a tough football team, but sometimes when you start to lose those ball games, the kids kind of lose faith a little bit. But I'm just proud of the efforts that we had throughout the season and the resiliency that we played with all year. And that was Troy Cruz there, one of my junior safeties, looking for him to take another step in the offseason and increase his play.
You mentioned the number of seniors that you have on this team. Do you sit there and say, "Hey guys, it's now a one-game season"?
Oh yeah.
How do you want to leave?
This is a whole new ball game here, playing in the playoffs. I absolutely love the playoffs because you go in different places to play these different teams, these different environments, just like you said, the hostile environments that you get to see. But for the seniors, it's like you said, it's one game. It's no tomorrow. Like if you want to come back next week and play and be with your brothers, and that camaraderie that you have playing the game of football, it's special. But I don't think, and I'm kind of biased, but there's no other game like it to me.
Okay, going to Garner. Couple of objectives going in that you need to do to come back home and play in week 2.
Yes, sir. Well, offensively, they're very explosive. They got one of the best running backs in the state. We've got to get him bottled up. I don't think anybody's done it all season long, but I'm looking to defensively to do some things to try to slow him down a little bit. Defensively, they fly to the ball. Secondary-wise, they're a little weak there, but that's not our strength, passing the ball. We want to control the clock. We want to get them off the field, and they're pretty much a running team, but they get explosive plays. Like I said, that back in that offensive line that they have are pretty legit.
So bottom line, make them drive the ball. I would think it's important, especially with your offense and your senior linebackers, to get that lead early.
Oh, absolutely. We always want to start fast and finish fast. So that's one of the goals that's going to be this week. Again, it starts with our preparation and practice, and hopefully Friday night we show up. And that's on me.
Now we saw it on the tape. We saw the outside speed. We saw that dynamite quarterback.
Yes, sir.
For somebody, somebody's looking at Laney on tape. It's one thing to see it on tape. It's another to actually see it. Hoping that's a big advantage.
Absolutely, and that's the same thing for them too. That's
Yeah.
again, seeing it on film is one thing, but actually seeing it live in person is another thing. And that's one thing that we saw against New Bern that kind of shocked us a little bit with the team speed. But again, that non-conference scheduling, playing those tough opponents, kind of prepares us for this moment, and we look forward to stepping up to the challenge.
Okay, good luck on Friday night. Again, if you're heading to the game, Laney is at Garner. First round action on Friday evening. When we come back, we'll take a look at the lone game in town this week. Hoggard, stay with us. Welcome back to the program. As I mentioned, there is one first round game in town this coming Friday night, and that's at Hoggard. And Scott, you won the county championship. You know, you won a couple other things you were looking for, and you completed that undefeated season.
Yeah, that was important to us. I think all week long we talked about trying to finish this thing out perfect, and that had only been done twice in the history of Hoggard High School. 2006, 2007, we had undefeated regular seasons. 2007, undefeated season in a state championship. So it's something we started to talk about late in the season as it became more realistic and more attainable. The conference championship was a goal from the beginning. Really proud of our football team. You know, great leadership. It starts with our seniors. Friday was senior night for us against South Brunswick. Thought those guys did a good job. We came out a little flat. Some of that probably not getting up for a team that we could see on film maybe wasn't our strongest competition. Some of that was a real small crowd. I'm not sure where everybody was. Our student body was absent. I don't know if they were home studying or what, but not a very big crowd there, and that kind of contributed to it a little bit. But we woke up, South scored. We woke up and had a really strong, I think, 21-point second quarter, 21-point third quarter, and then we were able to get a lot of guys in there in the fourth quarter.
Let's take a look at some highlights if we can. Senior night, and you know, you've mentioned all year the maturity of your football team.
Yeah, and defensively, we continue to just play good football there. Great pressure. Coach Turner, our defensive coordinator, I think does a great job of dialing up pressure. There's a corner there. Gaddafi Turner in on a blitz. Outside linebacker in on a blitz. Jeremiah Andrews continues to do a good job. There's Jeremiah there from his outside linebacker position. Quickly going to the pitch man on option. I thought South Brunswick did a great job. We scrimmaged them in the Jamboree and really kind of took it to them, and I thought they competed really well. Here's Austin Schonlieber, a little quarterback keeper for about 25 yards or so. This must be, I guess, second quarter action at this point because we're actually playing better, I can see. There's Austin throwing a corner route to Harrison Smith. Harrison takes it down there, trying to get it in the end zone, takes it down there close, and we're able to punch it in from there. We got a tight box up top there, so sorry for the blockage. This is going to be to Keevan Thompson. Great surge up front. Sylvester Smith, Cooper Booth, Patrick Morrison, Hunter Louthan, Chris Scialis is at center, right guard Sam Stevens, right tackle, Clay David, also right tackle. We've been working in a lot of guys there throughout the line, just doing a good job. Real proud of our offensive line. Special teams, Coach Underwood does an outstanding job. You can see those guys are coming down the field with a lot of enthusiasm there. The return man's able to not even get it outside the 10-yard line. Great effort, great technique as we swarm down for that deep left kick. Really proud of our special teams. They continue to play a big role in our success. Here we are again, going to throw a ball. This is a beautiful catch by Evan Allegre. Evan ran the route a little bit more across the field than I think Austin was expecting, so at the end, Evan had to adjust to it. Really made a beautiful adjustment, kind of over the shoulder catch. Big play for us. We're able to strike quickly there, and again, get the 21 points up to recover from a 7-zip deficit. Again, a lot of guys around the ball there. I think that was Gaddafi Turner at corner. Jeremiah Andrews, outside linebacker. Gene Beckwith is a safety for us. There's just about our whole D front in there. Hashim Michelle, Omar Jones, Tony Moore, Larry Rouse, Will Dykes, all those guys doing a good job. Great run by Keevan Thompson. This second quarter action, I think that's our 21st point. Just did a great job there. South starts to drive the ball a little bit late in the second quarter. Defense does a good job making a goal line stand. This is Gaddafi Turner on the interception on a fourth down play, and so we take a knee, go in 21-6 at the half. Come out in the second half and do a great job of going down and scoring. This is a little toss sweep to Keevan Thompson. We hadn't historically been a great toss sweep team, and that's a reflection of my coaching more than anything else, but Keevan just has a knack for it. Sylvester Smith at left guard's got a knack for pulling out there and getting on people, runs real well. You can see the surge here. I mean, we're just blowing them off the ball at this point in the third quarter early. Offensively, very proud of our offense. We, going into this game, had scored, our first team had scored 9 out of 10 possessions. We had one possession against Laney where we did not score, And on this one, I think we scored 5 out of our first 6 possessions, or excuse me, 7 out of our first 8 possessions on this one. So, you know, if you add that up, that's as pretty efficient as you can be, or as efficient as you can hope for. There's Javern Wallace, a great kid, just works his rear end off, ran track for us, lifted weights for us, plays DB, and we just wanted to reward him with a little jet sweep there. Just because he's a hard worker, and sometimes we can't get him on defense as much as we'd like, so we're happy to get him in on offense and have a chance to get a carry on senior night. He's a senior that has done everything we've asked of him, and we try and take care of those guys. It's a two-way street, you know, and they work hard, and we need to work hard for them too.
Okay, we heard from Laney, we heard from Hanover.
Yeah.
Lower seeds playing
Yeah.
higher seeds.
Yeah.
Now you're sitting as a high seed.
Yes.
You know, they're 7-4, South Central.
Right.
You're unbeaten.
Yeah.
But come Friday, everybody's even.
Yeah, they are, and I tell you, that's a good-looking football team. When you watch them on film, they remind you of New Hanover. They're kind of long and athletic. They run real well. They've got some young guys. They're not as pass-oriented offensively as New Hanover is, but again, just great athleticism. Got some guys going both ways. 7-4 team. I think they've lost to Rose, to Newbern, to Eastern Wayne, and to one other team up in that Pitt County area. It's slipping my mind right now. But their 4 losses are quality losses. They played good people, and so it's going to be a challenge for us. We've got to play better. We've definitely got to start better than we started last Friday night. Great week of preparation is going to be so important for us this week if we're going to have success Friday night.
Is it one of those games that the longer you allow them to feel that they can
Absolutely.
play with you, the tougher it's going to be?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a long bus ride for them. And the best thing we can do is kind of jump on them early and maybe convince them that tonight's not their night and they want to get back on that bus, especially if it's a little cold. I've seen that happen before. So we've got a fast start. We've got to start fast if we can and then hopefully finish strong.
Again, home game this coming Friday night at Hoggard. It is South Central coming in town. And again, the Vikings complete the regular season undefeated. We'll have 3 playoff games for you to highlight next week. We'll see you next time on Sports Roundtable.